And we're live. Okay, hi everybody. Sorry we're a few minutes late, but you know how life is. It just happens. But I wanted to stay on here because today is a special episode with our I call it our cuz he's all of our friends. He's our family.
Communal friend.
He's a communal friend. I'm going to share him today because I want to talk about his efforts in Ukraine. We all know what's going on. If you don't know, then there's probably a reason, and that's okay. But there's a lot going on, and he has spearheaded this mission, this huge effort to continue helping, and we're asking for support because there a lot goes along with this. It's not just him. There's a team, and there's people already on ground, and he's back here. We're gonna have him talk about all of this. So tune in and go to the link that's across the bottom in order to support. If you can't support, please share it out to those who you feel can contribute. So welcome, Caleb. Thank you so much for your time. I know you are a busy man.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I've been
Oh,
looking forward to this all morning. It's been a
yeah,
crazy morning already.
I'm sure. And it's only 12 Central Time. So what
Yeah.
time what time is it over there? Where are you
Nine.
at?
Nine.
No, oh Lord, where are you? In California?
Alaska.
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 I forgot about that. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. So everything's happening before 9 a.m. over there.
Yep.
Insane. Okay. Well, let's get this started. So tell us when, how do we do this? Because all of a sudden, when everything was happening, you were already on social media saying, we've got this lined up. So talk to us about how it started.
Uh, to be honest, it just started from this chair right here in a Facebook Live that I did. February 28th, 3 days after the invasion. I was really struggling with the current events and felt really inclined to at least start a movement to do something. And so right off the bat, I got on Facebook Live and I just kind of put out there that, hey, I want to do something. I don't know what that looks like. I'm willing to do whatever. Let's start talking ideas. If you know people, like, let me know where I can help, how I can help. Pretty quickly, I came to realize that there wasn't actually a lot being done. A lot of the typical humanitarian efforts are even still right now holding back, waiting to be able to go into Ukraine and be able to help because the situation on the ground is very non-friendly in the sense that ambulances are actively being targeted, large convoys are actively being targeted. Doesn't matter if there's a big red cross on the roof or not. And so there's some Samaritan's Purse I know is in Kiev. There's certain elements of the Red Cross on the ground, but when it comes to like that large logistic network and infrastructure, most of that civilian-based efforts are, from what we're seeing on the ground, really just holding back. They're waiting for the UN to step in and establish a corridor. They're waiting for peace talks to happen a little bit more progressively to be able to ensure the safety of the teams on the ground. Um, and so, in addition to that, Poland was already, even 3 days later, showing to have areas of concern. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. There's something outside. Um, and 3 days in, we were like, this can't be the only route in. Like sooner or later, that's going to prove to be a really big problem. And so, I have a client of my business that is a first generation Romanian refugee. Her name is Cornelia, and she's been a godsend. But it was through her that I was able to make contact with her Romanian family and logistic counterparts there on the ground. And without her, nothing would have happened, right? And so right off the bat, I was able to get contact with Romanians that owned trucking companies and had warehouses and had political connections with import and export processes and 501c3s that were already operating in Romania, and it was, I was just tapping into a pre-established network in Romania of Romanians, and so all I was with a guy with a voice in America, that essentially put out the cry that, hey, we have access through Romania, let's get teams together, let's start doing something there. And now here we are, 4 weeks later, and we have a system of warehouses, dedicated trucks, and distribution points through Romania and Ukraine, where we're getting medical supplies and humanitarian from Bucharest and other points in Romania and Europe up through southern Ukraine to the points that need them.
That's insane. That's that's amazing. That's all the things, because I know there's a lot of us here in the States wishing we could do more. Some of us even wanting to volunteer to go over there. There's the New York Times put out an article on things that you can do to help support. There's just so much, but still feeling like it's not enough. But you have taken this further, and there's people there, and that's it's just so much. So I mean, for me, thank you for doing this. And I just, I know a lot of us have a lot of feelings about it. For one thing, I just 2 days ago, or yesterday actually, I met a I'm a bunch of groups here in my local in Killeen near Fort Hood, Facebook pages, and there was a girl who had posted about how she has family in Ukraine, and she's here. She's married to a service member, and she was baking authentic Ukrainian dishes to raise money to go towards her family. And so I went and I met her, and of course the food was amazing. But I was just talking to her for just a few minutes, and she was telling me about how she has family there, and she can't do anything but just try to make these dishes to help raise money. And there was a bombing a couple days ago, and just so many emotions. So if for those of you that are watching this and you don't think it's real, when you meet people like that, you're like, oh my god. And all I could do was offer her more than what she was asking, because I felt like I don't know what else to do, but I could give you some more money, to do this. So how are things like right now? You're not there because of a mishap, right? You weren't able to get a passport, I think. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
correct. I had
Mm-hmm.
passport issues,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I think it worked out well because I've been overwhelmed here in the States. I couldn't imagine trying to coordinate all of this from there, trying to relay back here and everything else. And so
That's
it worked out well.
yeah.
To be honest, everything has been a God thing, right?
Yep.
Like from day one, uh, it's been God providing and just establishing the universe, God, however you want to credit it, right? Divine intervention
Yep.
that laid out a path forward, that wasn't through any of our original plans, right? Like everything we thought we planned fell through, and then just like another way opened up, and we're like, oh, okay, we'll do this instead.
Right.
Um, but I really want to give credit to the people in my life that helped me. That uh, I'm just that guy with the idea, right? Like the guys on the ground right now are kicking ass, right? Uh, I really want to give a shout out to Nick Valentine. Operation Phantom Support took us under their wing. We were just a group of guys, that were like, hey, we want to do something. Like but we're just a bunch of dudes out here, like trying to change the world. And Nick was like, yeah, I'll take you under my wing, and I'll give you guys a place to kind of hang your hat, so that you guys can just focus on helping people and not have to worry about having like an actual name or an organization that supports you, or like you're not just random people that are there operating on your own. You at least have some kind of legitimacy. Without that from the very beginning, um, we wouldn't be where we are right now. Without our Romanian contacts, without our team that's been crushing it on the ground, coordinating and getting people through. We've been coordinating with teams like the Austere Medical Relief Group. That's a team of special operation medics, former special operation medics that are on the ground doing medical relief and training TCCC, providing hospital relief shifts for frontline surgeons and nurses and things like that. And we've been able to help support them get their personnel through our logistic pipeline. We're helping them get their cargo moved through our pipelines now. Um, and without them, what we have is nothing. All I did is just put a bunch of people in the same room that had a desire to help, right? And then from there, the need became apparent. Everybody knew what we needed to do, and all of the right people were in the same room, and they're the ones that really took over from there. And so, one of the things that we're at right now is struggling with is funding. To be just real transparent and blunt with everybody, we have teams on the ground. We've set up trucks. We've set up warehouses. We've put deposits on everything out of our own pockets and from the money that people have been so gracious to donate to our cause up till now. We've raised something like $15,000 in the past month. People have been trying to, like you said, trying to support, trying to help, trying to do something. And with that, we've been able to get about a dozen people over on the ground over the course of the past 4 weeks. Excuse me. We've locked in 2 warehouses. We've paid for 2 warehouses up front. Locked in multiple safe houses, across Romania and Ukraine for the teams to stay at and travel through. The gas to move the cargo that we've brought in, to it's not cheap to drive a semi 7 hours to Bucharest to pick up cargo, you know. And so coordinating all of that, has only been possible by the people that have been willing to support us and contributed thus far. But uh, it doesn't go as far as people might think. We're really trying to make a difference, and unfortunately, as ugly as it is, we need money to do that, right? It's leverage of the world, and these Romanian drivers that are driving trucks still need paid. The gas still has to be put in the trucks, right? We still have to pay import fees. Air freight still has to get paid for all of the donations that are showing up at our distribution center in Vermont. And so it's all of these things that we're currently struggling with, that funding would be the biggest resolution of. And in addition to that, we can purchase about 300% more on the ground in Romania and in Europe, and then just truck it straight into Ukraine than we can shipping donations from the U.S. over. And so we're definitely getting the donations over there, and we appreciate them. We'll make it happen, because at some point there's going to be a shortage in Europe of supplies. But for now, we can go to France, we can go to Belgium, we can go to these other countries that are, for the most part, so far uninhibited by the current events, and can resupply there. Can stack semi trucks there and drive them to us in Ukraine.
Oh my gosh, that so much is going on, and I love how you said, everything is just God driven. There is a plan, and for those of you who don't understand, like when we deploy, there's always a rear detachment, and a lot of people think that rear detachment have it easy, like, oh, they didn't have to deploy, they're just sitting back doing nothing. I was part of rear detachment, and I went forward, so both of those um, positions are just as difficult because you deal with so much in the back, taking care of families or taking care of all the moving pieces forward, and then you're forward and you're trying to make all that happen, but the communication is so different because of time difference, and even internet capabilities or whatever. There's always something that could possibly go wrong, so it's not as easy as you think. It is very difficult. So you're right, you are here for a reason, to continue all the things that not everybody could do over there. So it's definitely, you have a purpose, and I think this is just such a amazing, uh, unfortunately an amazing mission due to the circumstances, because you are able to give back. So, what do you need right now besides funding? You need more people to step in and go down there, or is funding the biggest issue right now?
To be honest, we need medical personnel, but we won't need them
Okay.
for about 60 more days.
Mm.
We're in the process of receiving and facilitating 3 mobile hospitals. They're essentially semi trailers that expand out into field hospitals that can staff 80 and support 200 beds.
Hmm.
And so we have 3 of those that we're in the process of facilitating in country, that are being donated to our organization to help, in conjunction with a whole team of other organizations. This isn't just Phantom Support. We're definitely not big enough to be able to handle 250 medical personnel, but we are the ones that are going to be bringing it into country. We're going to be moving it around where it needs to go, maintaining the operational supply line of these hospitals to keep the goods moving. But over the course of the next few months, as we get these hospitals in theater, we're going to need doctors, we're going to need nurses, we're going to need pediatricians, to come and staff these hospitals, dentists, right? Like these, we're going to have, not all of them are going to be trauma hospitals, and not all of them are going to be long term, but there's going to be a level of both, that's needed. That one is, near Romania, maybe even in Romania, as we start to see the healthcare system become overwhelmed. And as the situation progresses over the next few months, we don't know when this is going to end or how. And so it's sad to see people on the ground dying from things like a lack of insulin because they're diabetic, not a bomb being dropped on their head. The humanitarian crisis at hand is just as bad as the combat crisis. And that's something that we're really trying to, again, facilitate with this logistics infrastructure. And so with that said, the donations we talked about before, it's cheaper to buy them in Europe, but we can only buy so much in Europe. We're talking multiple aircraft here full of cargo. And so, we hospitals in the U.S., even normal medications, cancer medications, insulin, right, like heart medications. We have contact with Hospital of Kiev, with the Hospital of Lviv, with the Hospital of Kremenchuk, with direct requests of medications and supplies from these hospitals that we're trying to gather in the United States. And so anybody with a medical background or medical connections that can help facilitate, the donation of large-scale medical infrastructure, we desperately need it on the ground.
Is all that information on the website, the phantomsupportukraine.org?
A lot of it is.
Okay.
The You won't really see anything about the hospitals. It's been a new development. It's still very much so an active kind of problem-solving thing right now. We've gotten the green lights from all official parties on it. It's moving forward. We're kind of figuring out how now, if that makes sense. So, uh, in regards to if you go to our website and you go to send supplies, that page there's going to be a whole list of things that we need on the medical side that are urgent, trauma care needs, as well as some basic, hospital staff. Like, for example, one of the biggest things that we're hearing right now is hospital bed sheets. They've run out of hospital bed sheets, and uh, things like formula, diapers, these things that, babies continue to eat and shit, right? And so, when you pack up with a suitcase on your back and the kid in your arm, right, how many diapers can you carry? How much formula can you carry? And so, Romania is overwhelmed logistically by the need to support all of these refugees coming. Neighboring countries can only do so much. And at the end of the day, go check out that list on the Send Supplies page. It has a long list of things that the refugees are looking for, as well as our medics on the ground are looking to grab.
And so the money that we donate is just going to be purchased over there, or did you need us to send it from here?
Money that's donated is a combination of things.
Okay.
We just purchased flights for the 3 additional volunteers that are going over next week. Again, like buying those warehouses. We've donated about 20 duffel bags worth of supplies that we've been able to purchase. Like, we've raided CVS's, we've raided pharmacies, things like that. We've had some of our homies that are still in, raid their supply rooms for tourniquets and things like that and send them our way.
Mhm.
And so, in the first 2 waves that we've sent, I want to say it's 22 duffel bags that we've gotten, just with the guys going as checked bags, just trying to get what the highest priority needs are over there. And so I don't want people to be under the false impression that every single dollar they donate is going to buy a formula or diapers on the ground. It might be buying one of our team members, the meal that day. It might be buying, them a roof over their heads. But this doesn't happen if they're not there, and so. All of them are volunteers. They're not getting paid. All of us took time away from work and are unpaid leave right now, as we were here volunteering. And so it's just as high a priority and need for them to be taken care of while they're there. But I don't want people to be under the impression that the guys are there for a vacation and are just collecting a paycheck of donations while we're there and just hanging out for the popularity of it, right? There's for people that haven't been outside of their comfort zone, right? For our typical civilian Americans, there are things that you don't think about on the ground that you need to take care of, right? The border guard that likes to give you a hard time when you're coming across, that needs his pocket smoothed, right? Like the hotel that you have to stay in last minute because the safe house didn't answer the phone, or all of these different things, right, that come up that you're just like, fuck, I didn't see that coming, or fuck, I'm glad we had cash on hand for that, Or, for example, every semi truck we send to pick up cargo from the airport, it's a $500 round trip. And so we have 37 pieces of bandages and gauze coming in on Monday from China. And so that's just another trip there, right? That doesn't even include the cost of getting it into Ukraine. That's just to get it from the airport to our logistic hub. And so yeah, I think I talked enough about that. But just to let people know like what their money is going towards, what it's doing to help, the impact that it's making on the ground. I think people want to hear that, right?
No, absolutely. And how many total people do you have on ground right now?
So, Phantom Support organically, we have 3 personnel in Ukraine right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
We'll have 2 more arriving on. I'm sorry, 2. We just had one guy that headed home recently.
Mhm.
Um, Sorry, guys. Um, we have one guy just headed home, Brad. He was my team leader on the ground. He's back home taking care of some family stuff right now, which leaves us with 2 guys in Ukraine right now. We'll have 2 more guys landing 4 more guys actually landing next week. And then I mentioned earlier Daniel and his team, Austere Medical Relief Group. they've got about 6 medics that are on the ground doing operations right
Wow.
now that we're pretty much embedded with. We've been collaborating hand in hand. We're sharing rooms, sharing beds, kind of living together, for lack of better words. And
Mm.
so, um, all in all, about a dozen.
Wow. And will they rotate or are they staying for a certain length of
Most of
time?
them are going to be rotating,
Okay.
about 60 to 90 days.
Mm.
Is the average kind of consensus that the guys are giving. Again, it's all volunteers. They just came over here of their own accord. They can't be here forever unpaid, right? And so they all have families to take care of back home and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a lot of ways, we're acting out in faith, right? Like
Right.
uh, we're gonna establish this foundation that we believe the greater good in the universe is going to pick up and continue on, and it has done nothing less up until now, and so we don't have any reason to believe that it's going to stop.
Right. Wow. How have the people been with you going over there? Have they been welcoming? Have they been, how has that been?
Man, I wish one of the guys on the ground was here to tell you firsthand. So, but I'll relay, what they've been filling me on. It's a mix. Everybody's very apprehensive on the ground. Everybody's
Mm.
very timid and nervous. But as soon as they find out you're American, you show them a blue American passport. It's all smiles and they're excited you're there. But you know, we had some guys that we were coordinating with, that got rolled up in a very friendly area by Ukrainian police, and like, really, like, who are you? What are you doing? And they were like, no, we're here just trying to help medical supplies. Like, blah blah blah. Even having knowing contacts on the ground, and all that just to say that although they're appreciative of American support, they're very apprehensive of foreigners right now in general, and their world's being turned upside down, and so
Yeah,
there's only so much grace that you can expect, when
absolutely.
you feel like everybody's out to get you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had just to bring on Erin Michelle is on here. She thank you so much for
Hi,
watching.
Aaron.
If there's anybody else out there that has a question for Caleb, feel free to add that into the comments and I'll be able to pull it up here. If not, please share this video out. It's on the podcast Facebook page. It's on LinkedIn currently and YouTube. So if there's anyone you feel that could actually, that could bring what Caleb needs to support this mission, then please do so. If there's any questions that you have, how can they contact you?
The best way is going to be on Facebook, honestly,
Okay.
Facebook or Instagram. You
Okay.
guys can find us Operation Phantom Support. Sorry, Phantom Support Ukraine, Instagram and Facebook. Send us a DM there. Either myself or one of the team members. We'll be able to get back to you and answer any questions you have. And also, myself, Caleb Blair. My handle is at Real Caleb Blair, Facebook, Instagram. You guys can reach out to me directly as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you to Nick Valentine. He is such a, he's just an amazing human. I've seen him a few times here now that I'm living in his area. And it's just amazing the things that he does for the community. I just can't even keep up with him. I thought I did a lot, but he's definitely a godsend to many people. So I think it's amazing that he's taken you under his wing to do that. Not there's nobody better than him to do this right now. Is there anything that you would like to tell all those that are watching and listening?
Do more
Hmm.
at the end of the day, right? Like, something that we're really seeing is this compassion complacency, right? The
Hmm.
invasion of Ukraine happened, and everybody put a Ukrainian flag on their profile picture, and shared a
Hmm.
"We stand with Ukraine" post, and they went back to their normal life and forgot about it, right? But Ukrainians are still dying every day by the thousands. This isn't something that became any less real just because you stopped paying attention to the posts on your Facebook wall about it. Set up a coat drive. Like, there's kids sleeping on the ground right now, with no blankets, with no sleeping bags. It's there's still snow on the ground. It's still frozen. It's still cold. It's 22 degrees, 23 degrees right now. Like, and so set up a coat drive at your local church, your VFW, your American Legion, your business, your front yard. Put a plastic bin with the Ukrainian flag on it, right? Like, it's not that difficult to, like, manifest good into the universe instead of just sitting by complacency and saying, "Oh, well, that's sad." And honestly, it's pissing me off lately. If I had to say one thing transparently, it'd be that.
Well, that just hit. You're right, though. You're right. It's so easy for us to put up the flag and, on social media, but then kind of move away and focus back on our lives. So it's true. I mean, I've done that a couple times. And it just, and then I'll sit here and really think about it, and it's like, man, I've got, what else can I do? And I do want to put a plug in because I've been sharing this out for a few times now. But I did collaborate with our friends at It's Really Designs. They make all the merchandise for a lot of us. But I want to donate those sales to you. And we're
Thank you
all
guys.
trying. We're trying.
Yeah,
I'm going to
you
keep
guys are
doing
amazing. I'm
more.
talking to your audience, not there's a lot of I want to pay attention to the good in the world too, right? Like there's so many people that have come together for the betterment of good here, right? For you guys that are setting up those donations, like we have U-Hauls full coming in of donations. Like the good of humanity coming together here is beautiful. I don't want to take away from that. I don't want to say the world is dark and people suck, right? If that message hit home to you, well, hey, if the shoe fits, wear it. But for those of you that are doing manifesting, good into the universe, that are contributing, that are donating, that are sending us supplies and materials and diapers and formula and canned foods and dry food and all these other things that we need, thank you. We have a distribution center that's been set up by volunteers in Vermont to receive mail and donations and stuff, and they've literally have a box truck that's been going every day to the post office and loading up and bringing it back to get sorted to then send over to our guys in Romania and whatnot. And that's just all volunteers donating their time, their equipment, their warehouse there in Vermont to all, facilitate this. And I can't say thank you enough to them. Rex Thompson and his whole team there, man, they've been incredible. And everybody else, not just them, but everybody that sent goods their way, everybody, Victoria, Olga, Cornelia, all of these other uh, humans, right? Humans helping humans how they can, where they can. It's kind of been the premise of our whole operation here.
That's so wonderful. Is there an address on the website that we can send stuff to?
Yes, so if you
Okay.
guys go to that Send Supplies tab, you guys will
Okay.
see the address to send it to along with the lists of requests.
Okay.
And so that's the best place for you guys to find more information about that. Um, yeah, go to the website, check out the Send Supplies tab.
Thank you so much, Caleb, for
Thank
everything
you,
that you're
Annette.
doing. I have no words because it's real, and we do forget. We really do, because we're living in our own world here, trying to take care of ourselves, but we forget that there's people out there that really need our help. So
Yep.
I really appreciate what you're doing here for just taking it on. I mean, you really did. You said, I want to do something, and you went with it. And I know it's not easy. I know it's not. So,
Something worth noting is that that's not just me being an asshole. The guys on the ground, the organizations on the ground, have all commented on the massive slowdown in supplies and donations.
mm,
Even from organizations, they said the first week was like really exciting. They got tons of stuff. Everybody was headline Ukraine, but then they said it dropped by like 75%. And so that's what that's the message coming from the ground is don't get compassion complacent. Don't
yeah.
forget about us. Don't forget that this is going on still. Don't forget that we're still here dying.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
um, I don't want people to think I'm just an asshole with a chip on my shoulder. Like I've heard that half a dozen times in the past 2 days from people and organizations on the ground. And so that's truly what they're feeling. That's how they see it. That's how they feel about us looking back at them right now. And that breaks my heart.
Mm, God. Thank you for sharing that with us and for just telling us how it is, because we don't know what we don't know. And that's why we have people like you to just say, hey, this is what's going on. And I know. So thank you so much again. Please, everybody, go to phantomsupportukraine.org. If not, reach out to Caleb. If you can't find him, reach out to me. I'll get you in contact with him. So just however you want to do it, we will figure out a way. So thank you so much. God bless
Thank you,
you.
Annette.
And we're going to continue to pray. I believe in God. So I'm going to keep praying for all of this. So thank you
Even
so
if you're
much.
not praying,
Hmm.
manifest good, right?
Yes,
If if
yes.
if if praying's not your thing, if
Hmm.
communicating with a higher power isn't your thing, focus on all of the good in the world right now. Focus on all the people that are helping. Focus on me and my team and the others like it. Daniel, his team, Team Rubicon. There's so many other teams, that are on the ground doing good work. Pay attention to their Instagrams. Pay attention to what they're saying, right? Don't pay attention to just all of the trauma and the misery and the death,
Yeah.
right? Focus your efforts on good, not evil, in
Yeah.
general, as a basic human principle, and
Yeah.
that's how we turn the tide.
Yeah. Absolutely. Man.
Thanks, Annette. I'll talk to you
Thank
later.
thank you so much.